Is Deja Parker, and I'm the founder and curator at Silver Lining Productions. Welcome to our story. Silver Lining Productions is a digital storytelling archive studio for the next generation. It's my opportunity to tell the culture how much I love it, the culture of Blackness, the culture that raised me, the culture that gave me my first cries, my first loves. It's really an homage and a celebration of how beautiful our stories are and how necessary they are to preserve and uplift in the service of our collective liberation. So the term digital storytelling archive studio is something that I coined. And sometimes when I say it, I feel like it's like 5-year-old Deja getting to do all her favorite jobs. So it's like, oh, I want to be an archivist. Oh, I want to be a librarian. Oh, I want to be a writer. So it's this hodgepodge and a healing to my inner child who never thought I would ever find one job that I love, and that's true. There's not one thing that I ever thought I would actually do, but it's also this realization that the goal of liberation has different intersections, and for me it is this thing of digital storytelling, which is really just telling our stories and putting them on film, and then archiving them, which is really just holding and preserving them, and the studio, because like studio sounds cool. So it's a digital storytelling archive studio. Storytelling for me is liberation. It was the moment where everything made sense. I guess I remember we all heard those stories from our teachers of slavery and sharecropping and the Jim Crow South, and you just kind of wonder how you fit into it all. Like, what does it mean to be a Black kid of today and hearing those stories? And so I remember my mom told me that my grandma was a sharecropper, and I was like, nah, no way. Like that doesn't make sense, because then that means that I'm a generation removed from a sharecropper, and how does that make sense? Because that was something that happened so many years ago, and how can my grandma, and I touch her and I know her, and she can't be a sharecropper, right? And so I talked to my grandma one day, and she told me the story of being a sharecropper in the Jim Crow South. And it was this moment where it all made sense to me. Like, that history really wasn't something that was far away, distant, untouchable, that it was like right in front of me the whole time, that I was very much connected to it, and it was very much connected to me, and I had a responsibility to uphold it. And the way that we uphold this history, this complicated history of being a Black girl who's a generation removed from a sharecropper, who now has the right to go to school and get an education and get a degree, but also still very much so contending with the harsh realities of racism. Storytelling helps it make sense of how I could still exist in this like quasi like weird reality that we're living in. So sharecropping, so storytelling for me really is liberating, because it makes it all make sense. What can be a really confusing experience navigating Blackness in our modern world, storytelling helps me understand it. It helps me understand how I got here and how we're like where we're gonna go after. So, Origins really came about because I believe all great stories need to be told from the beginning. And oftentimes in our modern day climate, we just don't tell stories from the beginning because it's not beneficial for the people in power. But oftentimes, what that means is that we lose so much of the richness and the complexity of today because we haven't explored the beginning. And so Origins for me really is a moment for us to take a step back and explore like who we are and how we got here. And you didn't get here in the vacuum of yourself. You are a composite of millions and millions and millions and of generations of people who have come before you. And we have to tell their stories so we can fully understand and hold you. We got to know who you are before. We got to know the people before you. Because this didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen in 1995. It happened hundreds of years before us. And if we don't explore the beginning, we can never really tell the end. Or the ending is just like not right. So, origins is we got to get to the bottom of it. And when we get to the bottom of it, we got to start at the top of it. So, origins. Upcoming projects. We are so excited because we are starting a project and it's called Love Letters from Mom. And in love with the idea of love letters. There's something so special about penning a note to the person that you love. And I think in a modern day era, we can take a spin on a love letter and make it something that's unique to this generation. And I think digital storytelling is the perfect vehicle for a modern day love letter. And then who better to give you your first love letter than your mom? And so we'll be hearing from Knoxville moms who share their experiences and leave us with a piece of wisdom. I think it's when I think of going back to my roots, I think of my mom, I think of grandmoms, and I think about the wisdom of big mamas, and I think about like, I don't know, like that's where we're supposed to be soaking up the wisdom. That's where we're supposed to be getting it from. And so we got to honor those voices and center those voices. And the best way to do it is through a project where we just hear from moms and we hear from their experiences. So yeah, that is one of our projects that we are dropping soon, and I'm really excited. Hmm. Silver linings for me are wet kisses from Ellie, my new puppy. Um, meditation with Nathan, my youngest son. Uh, president talk, boss talk with Carter, my oldest son. Cuddling at 10 p.m. with Jeremy, my husband. Hanging with my homegirls, Brittany and Khalil. And talking that life talk with, like, the talk you can only have with your homegirls. Um, silver linings for me is being held by my community and I'm holding mine. So, yeah, that silver linings is, I don't know, it's the people I love, it's the feelings I get that I don't know. I only have with them. They're so special. Silver linings have changed so much throughout my life, but today silver linings are those things, and yeah, they remind me that I'm home.